wait is over. The day has arrived. A day for deeds, because the only words needed: Ohio State versus Michigan, a fight to decide the fate of their seasons. But on the eve of this celebration of the sport, the sudden sad news: Bo Schembechler is gone. In his home state of Ohio, at the school where he got his master's and was mentored by Woody Hayes, the bitterness between the Buckeyes and the Wolverines is bridged this morning by shared respect and remembrance of the Michigan man whose passion helped build this rivalry and this sport. Good morning and welcome to College Game Day in Columbus. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit, and Desmond Howard. It is a strange day, guys. The excitement for this huge game obviously building back here, but the sorrow and the shock is still so fresh as Bo Schembechler, the rivalry so dear to him, even in his final week, in his final hours, as he prepared to talk about this game on his weekly television show at a Detroit station. Schembechler collapsed just after 9 a.m. yesterday, never regained consciousness, and the culprit was heart failure. It was the frailty of his heart that forced him to retire from coaching 17 years ago. But despite 2 quadruple bypasses, the installation of a pacemaker, he was the symbol of strength and resilience, and he just seemed almost indestructible. One of his final acts was also one of his favorite acts, addressing the Michigan football team on Thursday night, trying to inspire them for this game. The timing, of course, heavily ironic, almost spooky. His legacy cannot be distilled down to statistics, but his Hall of Fame career included 21 seasons at Michigan, 13 Big Ten titles, 10 Rose Bowls, in Miami, Ohio, and Ann Arbor, never a losing record in 27 years. Those achievements put him in rare company, but really the man behind them, what's even greater. Desmond, you played 2 years for Bo in Ann Arbor.
Yes, yeah. Yesterday, the college football world lost a giant, and I lost a hero. It's nearly impossible to encapsulate what Coach Bo Schembechler meant in a small amount of time to so many people. But personally for me, outside of my own father, he was a very influential man in my life. When we went to Michigan, Coach introduced us to 2 phrases: those who stay will be champions, and Michigan men. Now, it took several years for some of his former players to understand what those words really meant. It wasn't about conference titles, Rose Bowl victories, or wins and losses. It was about the values he instilled in us: the hard work, the dedication, the sacrifice, the commitment, and above all, integrity. Coach Schembechler said that those things would make us champions in life, or as he would call us, Michigan men. So when you see any of us players who ever wore that maize and blue helmet under Coach Schembechler at our best, what you're really seeing is a part of that man shining through us.
You know, Des, when the news broke yesterday and seeing you the last 24 hours, I think we can all really appreciate what Bo meant to his former players. My dad actually coached with Woody and coached with Bo at Miami, Ohio, and I grew up respecting Bo. In fact, I knew all along I would eventually, growing up in Ohio, I wanted to play at Ohio State. But the bottom line is I wanted to be recruited by Bo Schembechler. I just wanted him to recruit me, and he asked me in my senior year, do I have a chance to get you? Even though I knew he didn't have a chance, I wanted just to be around a legacy, be around a coach who I had such great admiration for. And I think him, along with Woody, took this rivalry from 1969 to 1978 from a very special place to an elite place. And now that's why this rivalry is looked at as the greatest rivalry in all of sports, because of Woody and because of Bo.
You know, I was a head football coach at Indiana in the Big Ten for 10 years, and I enjoyed, respected, and loved coaching against Woody and Bo. I never beat them, but I scared them a couple times. But this is interesting. 24 years ago, Indiana fired me. 24 years ago, and I can remember it as is yesterday. The first 2 coaches to call me were Woody Hayes and Bo Schembechler. Does that tell you what kind of people they were? They were great football coaches, but they were even better human beings, and it's amazing to me. I can't believe it that both my friends, Woody and Bo, are gone. I just can't believe it.
Now, being in his presence just made you love the sport that much more. All of us are greedy. You want more time. You want more words. You want more of Bo, and we won't be able to have that. Well, there'll be a memorial service in Ann Arbor on Tuesday. There was a spontaneous candlelight vigil on the Michigan campus last night. Lisa Salters has been with the Michigan players. I mean, even though he retired 17 years ago, Lisa, some fans may not realize what a presence he was with the program, how well he knew the current Michigan players. Glendale, Arizona. The consolation prize, perhaps, is a traditional carrot, the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. The Buckeyes roll in favorites, winners of 18 straight, a near unanimous #1 since day one, with a quarterback in Troy Smith who can perhaps secure the Heisman Trophy if he continues his mastery of Michigan for a 3rd straight year. The Wolverines arrive with a chip on their shoulder, carried from that preseason ranking of number 14. They've handled Notre Dame and Wisconsin, their only losses. They've trailed only 17 minutes all year. Their defense, #1 against the run. But against the 6 common opponents, the Buckeyes have been dominant, more than double the average margin of victory of Michigan. That's just a thumbnail, just some of the numbers, but guys, beneath the numbers. Yeah. As you two guys on the outside know, the emotions of this game that always plays such a huge part.
Well, the emotion of the Ohio State-Michigan game every year are unprecedented as far as a player is concerned. The night before, trying to get to sleep, I can tell you, is a very difficult thing because of the next morning. You're so excited, anticipating what it's going to be like to be able to have a chance to be a part of such a great rivalry. The players this year, I can't even imagine how they've tried to block out all the distractions. It's been 5 weeks that we've been counting this down. This week, all of the national media has been in Ann Arbor, in Columbus, and then all of a sudden the ball's going to go in the air. First 5 minutes of the game, Desmond, in my opinion, will go a long way in deciding which coaching staff did a better job of preparing their team with all this hype and everything that's at stake. Who's going to show up with more poise and more character to be able to get through all this craziness on the outside?
No, I agree with you. And both teams, both coaching staffs have prepared their players in the past to big games. I mean, Tressel has been a national championship game. Laurie Carr has been a national championship game. So they know how to prepare their players week in and week out. As a player who's playing the game, I'm going to tell you, you could not sleep the night before the game. It was almost like a child waiting for Christmas. And the gift is this game. So once those guys take that field, the emotions, the adrenaline is going to be flowing so strongly that this is going to explode in the horseshoe today. You know, you've coached in big games. You can tell us about it.
Not this kind of game. I tell you what, you know, it's an important game here in Columbus and all over the country, but it's also all over the world. While I was working out this week, I met an Army sergeant named Rick Wells. He just got back from Iraq. He told me that his company built a small television room so they could watch College Game Day on Saturday nights, 8 to 10 in Iraq. Saturday nights in Iraq. Hope you guys enjoy the game. I'll tell you one thing. Godspeed to you guys. Thanks for what you've done for us. Hope you enjoy the show. And let's have it go.
Hey, man, this is a global event. There's 770,000 living alums of these two schools combined. Only 2 of them out here, but they're all over the globe. They'll be watching, we've been told, on the internet, in Singapore, in Scotland, a pub in Paris, on the Rock of Gibraltar in South Africa. It's a Michigan man's house. I mean, that's the kind of global event this has. Coming up, Kirk's visit with Troy Smith, a visit with the Michigan defense determined to stop him today. And James Laurinaitis, Ohio State sophomore linebacker, didn't pull a page from his dad's playbook, what it was like growing up with wrestling royalty. Plus, that old BCS debate raging louder than ever after today's game. Which of these powerhouses deserves the shot at the national title against the winner today? And Scarlet Fever still burning in the banks of the Raritan after last week's magical scene. Why Greg Schiano has turned the Knights into lumberjacks. A 10-10 tie meant that they had to vote who would go to the Rose Bowl, and Ohio State got the vote. Bo was deeply disappointed. Mike Landry missed a field goal at the end. Archie Griffin, before his Heisman year, beat Michigan.
The Ohio State-Michigan game is the game. We title it the game because every year it's the game. No matter what records are, you can throw it out because it doesn't make a difference. Any team can win this football game. Ohio State-Michigan is a game that I always say that I am most proud of because we never lost in my 4 years to the University of Michigan.
And we'll see if this great member of the Heisman fraternity will welcome in another Buckeye in just a couple of weeks in Troy Smith. Every guy who played in this rivalry knows their own personal one-loss record against the other side. I know you do. We don't talk about that, though. But neither does Chad Henne. We talked about Troy Smith's 2-0 record against the Wolverines. Well, Chad Henne is 0-2 against the Buckeyes. His stats have been fairly respectable, 58% passer. He's one of the 5 guys in history that has a 300-yard passing game in this rivalry, but 0-2 is the thing that matters and what he wants to change today against a tough defense.
Well, they definitely have a lot of speed, and they're very physical. And it's almost just a matchup like our defense that we play against every day. They have a lot of talent on their defensive side, and we're going to have to come out with our A game.
Now, the Buckeyes crew has been dubbed the replacements because of those 9 new starters. You realize in their 3 Big Ten home games, Ohio State's allowed a total of 9 points. The Penn State, Indiana, and Minnesota. Then, of course, there is the Michigan defense, having one of the top 5 years in terms of run defense in the last couple of decades here. They have not allowed a rushing touchdown in the first half all season long. It's a different look and an attitude and a scheme from the group that got shredded at the end of last year, and a new coordinator in Ron English. Lloyd Carr wanted aggression. He got 40 sacks, led by Lamar Woodley's 11. He wanted big play prevention. Yeah, they've given up 7 passes of more than 20 yards. Not so good in that area. But as Steve Cyphers reports, Michigan's mission has been a success right from the opener.
When you wait against this Wolverine defense, bad things are going to happen.
It was the first game on the schedule, but Vanderbilt was not the first opponent to see Michigan's new defense. Instead, it was Michigan's offense last spring.
Every single day they come to practice and they'd hit you right in the mouth, and relentless, wouldn't stop.
Getting after the quarterback and, just assaulting the running backs and just being very aggressive. And you say, wow, they're going to be great.
What you see on the field is what Ron English demanded when he took control of the defense as its coordinator after last season.
Get to the ball, play fast, play physical, and you have to execute.
He's not going to stop till you get it out of you. You might not think you have it in you, but Coach E's going to find a way to get it out of you.
Look at this fire, Frank. I mean, is he getting after him right now?
Intercepted by Burgess at the 28, goes to the house for a Michigan touchdown.
The message was reinforced in just the second game when the Wolverines say the tone for the season was set with 2 defensive scores at Notre Dame.
I'd say throughout the whole Notre Dame game, they just really made a statement to everybody in college football and kept it going throughout the whole year.
That was the second game of the season. We had 10 more to go. So we were a long ways from becoming the team that we knew we were.
Now the Wolverines lead the Big Ten in tackles for loss and quarterback sacks, all because, they say, they're role players. All of them.
You got to trust that your teammate's going to do his job. You can't go out there and try to be Superman, try to make every play.
If we had big egos on this team, the togetherness part wouldn't work out.
What does it take to play good defense?
Tackling, running to the ball, and having fun.
But one team's fun
really took a lick.
Is another team's pain.
Definitely if you're a ball carrier, you got 7, 8 guys hitting you. Instead of fighting for those extra yards, you want to fall a little early, because you think about getting hurt.
How would you describe this defense?
Attack. Attack, attack, attack.
Attack?
Yeah, one more for the road. Yeah, attack.
Woodley is the leader. He's the main attacker. He's got coming off the edge. He's the guy that in the locker room has been known to shed tears. He'll be into it today. Alan Branch, that enormous 330-pound run plugger in the middle. You got very fast linebackers, Prescott Burgess and Sean Crable, both Ohio guys, extra inspired today for this defense. So let's say the defenses do dominate. Let's say it's a close, exciting game. Are we going to see another rematch 50 days from now in Glendale? It's been a topic here.
Yeah. Well, I think if Ohio State University loses by a field goal or less, I know that's maybe impossible, but if they did, this football team might deserve a rematch unless the University of Southern California runs the table, and they would have beaten Oregon, Cal, Notre Dame, and UCLA the last 4 ball games. Then it would be Michigan, USC for the national title. Now, if USC loses, chaos. I'm telling you, nobody knows what's going to happen if USC loses the second game. Nobody knows what's going to happen.
Well, that becomes an interesting theory, because then Notre Dame is assuming that Notre Dame is able to win the game next week against USC. I've said all week, I've said all year that the winner of this game advances to the title, and the loser of this game does not deserve a chance to match up in the national championship game. That's it. You play for the championship in the greatest rivalry. If you win, you advance, and if you lose, you don't get that chance. That's my opinion. The facts are, if it is a close game, the loser of this game will have an interesting opportunity. USC's the wild card. They will get to the championship if they win out. But if they do lose, then it becomes subjective, and then you have the pollsters that get involved.
Everybody.
And then, then it becomes, I think, open. They still have a shot. It's one of those games that's going to have to be like, you want the 5th quarter to start to have the loser to have a chance.
I think some pollsters will vote the loser of this game number 2 on their ballots next week if it's close. Others might drop into 3 or 4, and then you have to see what happens ahead of them. I agree. Didn't you throw your computer down a few years ago and smash your computer in frustration?
Yeah.
What about this year when The Ohio State University is ranked number 3 in the BCS computers, behind the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers?
No way.
Behind the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers in the computer average.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah. Who was number 1?
Forget about it.
Michigan is number 1.
Michigan's number 1, Rutgers 2, Ohio State 3.
Those computers know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk more about Rutgers in a minute. And guys at ABC, Kirk, Bob Davey, Brent, Lisa, Bonnie, they'll get you ready for this thing beginning at 2:30 Eastern Time. Coverage starts more than an hour before kickoff. And then in prime time, this will be fun in the Coliseum, California, and USC for the Rose Bowl at least, and perhaps a shot in the national championship game. Oh, the practice before the execution of Script, Ohio at halftime today, and Dan Wanderers will be out there dotting the I's, the senior sousaphone player. Kickoff approaching 4 hours.
Let's go.
We'll talk game plan when we come up, predictions ahead. And this guy right here, tossing people around, was what Buckeyes linebacker James Laurinaitis was born to do. Find out what it was like to grow up the son of a legendary wrestler. Plus, undefeated right in the middle of the BCS. Why Rutgers succeeding.
You're in a forest of trees when things aren't going right, and you can't see, you don't know which way is out, and all you have is an axe. Well, you just start chopping.
Michigan, Ohio State at 2:30 Eastern, followed by Cal USC at 8 tonight on ABC.
78 people are dead in the worst disaster in football history.
I think you should have this back.
Chris gave it to you.
When I heard about what had happened, the only thing I could think about was maybe I can help.
Putting the team back on that field might be disrespectful.
This is not a game. This is about what happened to this town.
You think you're the only one that's had it rough?
This is your opportunity to rise from these ashes, and if you do that, we cannot lose.
We are Marshall.
What day is it, son?
Rated PG.
We're about to release the Brute Force 750 and 650 4x4i, but before we do, we'd like to run them past the guys here at corporate. Up from corporate.
Get a deal on a Warren winch with any new Kawasaki 4x4 ATV.
For the independent investor, TD Ameritrade has proprietary tools like trade triggers. It lets you place trades automatically even when you're away from the computer. And Market Motion Detector, a tool that shows the speed of price and volume movements. Tools for the long-term investor. Tools for the active trader. Tools for independence. TD Ameritrade. Independence is the spirit that drives America's most successful investors.
Anyway, that's the control room. A lot of chaos there, but it all looks good when it comes out on the show, actually, thanks to those people. Then over here in the digital center is our highlight screening area. So that's where we get all the games that are played that night, down in a 90-second or 2-minute clips or whatever you're going to see on SportsCenter right now. This hallway, it runs between, both rooms. If you want to get from the control room to the screening, then this is the hallway you'd take. Questions or anything? I can answer whatever you want about the place. Nothing?
Got it. The Beats had some cataracts. The sheep don't like it. Lock the cash box. Isn't he saying stop the cat box? Stop the cat box.
You don't have to understand your music to understand how to get it all from your PC to your phone. Only Singular lets you take ripped, purchased, and even subscription music on the new Singular Sync. Only $49.99.
Stop the cat box.
Singular, raising the bar.
Hey, welcome back. Pre-game preparations in Woody's wagon. Not many folks on the wagon here today. I can promise you vintage build-up here. Let's hear from some of the greats who played in this rivalry through the years.
Only men play in this game. There's no greater rivalry in the country bigger than Ohio State and Michigan. There have been great battles fought hearts broken. There's been dreams fulfilled. But there's no other game like this one.
When you play Ohio State, that's the game you want to win, and nothing else matters. You know, man, if you 0-10 going into that game, if you win that game, you look forward to the next season. So it's everything.
Growing up in Ohio and being a Buckeye fan and knowing about the rivalry, it wasn't just that season I prepared for that game. I felt like I was preparing for that game as a child building up to going through high school.
Well, the game today, of course, joins that legacy, but they never played a 1-versus-2 game in this rivalry. In '69, Dick Dixon showed up. Things got tricky. And Texas rallied from a 14-zip deficit to win it 15-14, won the national title. 71, 1-versus-2, Nebraska-Oklahoma game of the century. Johnny Rodgers returned the punt, won the Heisman. Nebraska won it by 4. In 1991, remember this, the first of the many Knowles Canes classics that went to wide right. Jerry Thomas missed it. Miami won the national title. Heartbreak for Bowden. He'd have to wait for his national title. He'd get it 2 years later in '93 when Charlie Ward, who won the Heisman that year, was beaten by the Fighting Irish. Our first College Game Day road show. But of course, FSU, not Notre Dame, won the national title that year. Now to the team that hosted the original 1-versus-2 game. Back in 1869, when only Rutgers and Princeton played college football at the birthplace of the sport. It has been a banner season, again ranked ahead of Ohio State in the BCS computers. I know. From Piscataway to Parsippany, Teaneck to Weehawken, Scarlet Fever has taken over the Garden State, even over across the river into New York City. They are talking about Rutgers football. Knights gear is flying off the shelves. It's a stunning turnaround for the traditional doormat program, and Greg Schiano is a hot name in coaching, not far removed from winning a combined 3 games in his first 2 seasons. Now, Schiano's gotten his guys to buy into a blue-collar vision, and as Chris Conley reports, he has pushed all the perfect motivational buttons.
Give it to Pierre Thomas. He's in. Touchdown. Illinois wins. 33-30. Illinois over Rutgers. What a heartbreaker for Greg Schiano.
After watching his players blow a big lead in last year's season opener, Rutgers coach Greg Schiano called a team meeting in this room and unveiled a phrase and a concept that would transform the football fortunes of the Scarlet Knights. Chopping wood.
Coach Schiano came in and he said, you know what? We're going to do things differently around here right now. We're going to chop at everything we do. We're going to chop away at every little thing we need to get better at, whether it's on special teams, offense, defense, and we're going to stick to the chop. You're in a forest of trees when things aren't going right, and you can't see, you don't know which way is out, and all you have is an axe. Well, you just start chopping. And you chop those trees, you just keep chopping. Eventually you see a little bit of light, you keep chopping, and eventually you're going to get out.
I can't tell you how proud I am. I can't tell you how proud the coaches are of the way you guys chopped. I want to get that axie.
That chop till you drop attitude has really let the sunshine in, earning Rutgers a sparkling 9-0 record and the school's highest ever national ranking, 6th, all thanks to the hard work and the here and now mindset the chop symbolizes.
You can see on the field now how everyone's focused, and no matter what happens, if Mike throws an interception, if Ray fumbles the ball, if I miss a block, we just stay focused and stay on the chop.
That's what the chop does. It gets you on the mindset that, you're going to let everything else go. And whether you're tired, winded, injuries, a lot of stuff you could just let go because you're thinking about the chop and what's best for the team.
With just 3 games to go, Rutgers has its fans axing for an undefeated season. But this team knows that even as the Holiday Bowl season looms, they've got plenty of chopping days left.
I'll keep chopping away. Now, it's been 9 days since that big win over Louisville, and Schiano's glad for that. He's had good weeks of practice. The flu bug that went through the team has kind of subsided here. But this is an effort team, Kirk. They need to play their A game to win. And they visit Cincinnati, a Bearcat team that hung them with the Buckeyes in this stadium, led in Blacksburg after 3 quarters, and almost beat Louisville. So it's a pretty better team than people think it is.
Yeah, they are. And I think we're going to find out really how, not so much how good Rutgers is, but what kind of maturity they have, which has been their strength coming into this game. And how do they handle prosperity? This is very new. This is uncharted waters for Greg Schiano. He can only talk so much. At some point, the players really have to take pride and take the initiative to show up ready to go. It's human nature to let your guard down after such an emotional win. UC at home only allowing 64 yards a game on the ground and 11 points per game. So UC will play hard for Mark D'Antonio, but in the end, I think there's, again, one of these teams with chemistry, a team that's destined to continue to win football games. They'll get by, but it's going to be hard tonight.
I like that pick, Rutgers, also. But let me tell you something about Rutgers. What a great turnabout. But here's a perfect example. Last year, the University of Louisville beat Rutgers by 51 points. This year, Rutgers beats Louisville by 3. That's a 48-point turnaround in 1 year. And if the moon and stars all line up together and the big-name teams continue to lose, the winner of the Rutgers-West Virginia game could play the winner of this game for the national title. Possible.
That's a great game.
That's the impossible dream. The impossible dream. That game will be in Morgantown, primetime ESPN in a couple of weeks. If Rutgers survives this game, it'll be quite a scene at home against Syracuse next week, the final home game for Brian Leonard and those seniors who came in when it was a doormat and built into this. That'll be special next week, but I think you're right. Tonight, primetime ESPN game at 7:45 Eastern Time in Old Nippert, where it's not going to be a sellout. Where the high school game last night drew more than this game tonight.
Don't get lulled to sleep there. To keep the magic alive. That's one of the great stories in the country.
What's still coming later? We have something special planned at the end of the
big
show.
Stuff. Wait till listen to me read this stuff right here.
Go.
USC is in Los Angeles waiting to see how things play out today in Columbus. The Trojans are sitting at number 3 in the BCS. We'll tell you if USC, Kirk, will run the table and go the rest of the way. Watch out for Cal.
All right, Troy Smith also. Can this Michigan defense slow them down?
Champ.
I think I want to do something.
Like what?
Fight.
People are going to think you're going crazy.
We have the contract from Mason Dixon. When he heard you were interested in fighting again, he thought, why not put something together?
I ain't interested in getting like mangled and embarrassed. It takes guts climbing back in that ring.
You can do it! Come on!
Rocky Balboa, rated PG, this Christmas.
Saturday, nothing to complain about unless you're working, in which case we hope you're complaining. It's college football day, so that should tide you over. Then try to get home and throw the football around with your friends' kids, your friends' kids' friends. Then rest up, because there's only 2 days till Eli leads the G-Men into Jacksonville, as the Giants square off with the Jaguars at 8:30. 2 days until ESPN Monday Night Football. Now that alone is a reason to smile, even if you're working.
Business-sized spending power. Spending power that can be increased on the spot. That's the Business Gold Rewards Card from American Express. Apply now and pay no fee for 1 year. Rewards points that go on building. Without limits or expiration dates on points you can earn. Call 800-NOW-OPEN to apply and get 5,000 bonus points to start. Open, how American Express serves small business.
Get all the college hoops you can handle with the ESPN Full Court Pay-Per-View package, available on DirecTV. Up to 450 games, top conferences, critical matchups you won't get in your area. The most complete college basketball pay-per-view package anywhere. Hoops Heaven is only a phone call and click away. The ball's in your court. Order now for only 2 payments of $49.50. Call 1-800-GET-SPORTS or go to directtv.com/ESPN Full Court. Special early bird offer ends 11/22/06.
November 20th, 2004, Game Day visits Utah for the one and only time, and Herb Street makes his case to the undefeated Utes to play in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
That was a good one.
Make your reservations. You're going to Tempe. Boom. I remember that.
Put an eye out, Herb Street, you maniac.
That was an option pitch. You got to be ready for the pitch.
GameDay.com all season long to view these 20th anniversary moments. One of these days. One of these days, Sparky. Food upside the face. Meanwhile, Cal's Jeff Tedford has privately lamented his offense's meltdown in Arizona, but publicly to his team, trying to get them to realize the Rose Bowl's on the line tonight. Cal hadn't been there since '58, and remind them that it was 9 yards that separated them from victory the last visit to the Coliseum 2 years ago. First and goal at the 9. They could not get it in there. For USC, obviously, excellent in November, 18-0 under Carroll. Haven't lost a conference home game since 2001. It's a good quarterback matchup, guys. Nate Longshore and John David Booty have very similar statistics. And I think maybe the guy who plays better tonight, who wins the game, could be the All-Pac-10 quarterback.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And Nate Longshore needs to bounce back after the way his team performed on the road at Arizona. But I've been really impressed with USC. And you kind of had a feeling after they had to replace Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, Lindale White and company, and a lot of the offensive line, that the more experience that the offense got, the better John David Booty would become. And now we're seeing that over the course of the last 3 weeks. 15 yards per completion, and it's because of the experience and the better decisions you're seeing John David Booty now make. And I think he's playing with a great deal of confidence. He's getting Dwayne Jarrett back involved. And how about the accuracy in which he is throwing the football? 12 catches, 209 yards the last 2 weeks for Dwayne Jarrett. And I really believe that the big playability back in this offense, the decision-making by Booty, allows SC to win this game. It's going to be very, very close, because it's going to be Cal's coming in with the right to get to the Rose Bowl. And in the Pac-10, that's what life is all about. So despite the loss, they'll come in fired up. Close game, SC wins.
It used to be like that here in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
But now they got something else to play for now. To beat Southern California, California's A players must bring their A-plus game to Los Angeles, because they're not going to beat USC playing a regular game. Nate Longshore leads the Pac-10 in passing. Deshaun Jackson is a game breaker. He had 284 all-purpose yards last week against Arizona. Marshawn Lynch leads the Pac-10 in rushing all-purpose yards, scored 13 touchdowns this year. They got a nice football team, and they're ready. Now, I know Pete Carroll's won 18 straight. I know Pete Carroll's won 31 straight in the Coliseum. But this is Cal's opportunity for the first time in 48 years to go to the Rose Bowl. And I'm going with Cal in an upset over Southern California. Great football game.
Yeah, if you're concerned about the loss to Arizona last week, remember they had some penalties that nullified a couple interceptions, a touchdown, a replay overturned a touchdown, the 3 interceptions by Longshore. Behind the numbers, it wasn't as bad as it seemed against Arizona.
And Lee and I have said for a long time, the only coach right now in the Pac-10 who gets his team to believe that they can not only play with, but beat USC.
Yeah,
even when they had Carson Palmer, Matt Leinart, is Jeff Tedford. He'll get his team to believe they're going to go in there and win.
And Cal has the best all-around football team, in my opinion, in the Pac-10. They'll prove it
today. We'll see today, my friend. I think SC is now.
I don't know.
Damian Hughes better defend the pass, because USC might be throwing it more than usual. Emmanuel Moody, the running back, is out. Chauncey Washington, a little bit iffy. They're banged up at running back, so maybe some more throwing for USC. ABC will have that game in prime time, 8 o'clock Eastern time from the Coliseum. Game plans of the Buckeyes and the Wolverines coming up, plus James Laurinaitis, no stranger to tough battles. Today it's the Wolverines, but as a kid, it was his dad, the Road Warrior. Story coming up.
He'd be taking a nap, and I'd jump off and give him a big elbow. And he'd wake up a little angry at first, and then he'd, get up and body slam me or, suplex me once in a while.
ESPN College Game Day, Saturdays at 10 a.m.
The true power and beauty of plasma is often hidden, unable to be captured. Only Hitachi original technologies unleash the most lifelike color and detail in plasma. Introducing the world's highest resolution 42-inch plasma HD TV, only from Hitachi.
When you take that field today, you've got to lay your heart on the line. And if you do that, we cannot lose. The plane crash is our past. We cannot forget that. We're not honoring them. We're disgracing them. This is where we have come from. This is how we got here. This is who we are today.
We are.
We Are Marshall. Rated PG. Starts Friday, December 22nd.
Life is full of ifs. If in the blink of an eye, my 6-year-old has turned 16. If my family's future means the world to me. Choosing the right life insurance to protect life's ifs doesn't have to be as complicated or as costly as you think. MetLife is the largest provider of life insurance in the U.S. We help you create your personal safety net by listening to your needs, filling in gaps, and building on what you already have to help you prepare for life's many ifs. After all, we're MetLife.
He came from nothing and redefined the American dream.
I buried those cockroaches.
His enemies wanted him dead.
Say hello to my little friend.
But Tony Montana doesn't die that easy. IGN says an overall great game. A must-buy for any Scarface or GTA fan. Nothing short of spectacular. The action is fast-paced and bloody brilliant. The #1 video game in America. Scarface, the world is yours. Rated M for mature.
Every dog has his day.
Sunday NFL Countdown huddles up for Week 11.
It's Brett Favre. His legacy is set in stone. I'm going to enjoy watching him play.
Find out why the leader of the pack is enjoying himself again. And Devin Hester all the way! Meet the Bears who put the special in special teams. Plus, coming off a 5-game suspension.
I did it, and it's wrong. I mean, that's not the game of football.
Michael talks to Albert Hainsworth about the moment that changed him forever. Sunday NFL Countdown presented by IBM, 11 a.m. on ESPN.
Nice view of our sea of scarlet here, provided by Goodyear. Members of the triple tread technology. 108,000 will wedge into Ohio Stadium for this classic today. And the Ohio State defense, which was expected to be rebuilding this year after the loss of 9 starters, instead has been wreaking havoc on opponents right from the start. The big reason, an incurable case of Laurinaitis, as in a sophomore linebacker who's been burning and itching. To make big plays. He's forced 3 fumbles, 5 interceptions, tied for the Big Ten lead. A team leading 91 tackles, patrolling all over the field. As Tom Rinaldi reports, James' talent and toughness and sense of showmanship can be traced back to mayhem in the squared circle.
2 men, each aggressive,
inflict pain,
instinctive, ferocious, each like an animal, like father,
animal is on fire,
like son.
James Laurinaitis, the little animal.
He's a natural athlete. He can slam guys. He's strong. He's fast, and he'd be perfect for wrestling business.
Joe Animal Laurinaitis would know. He was half of one of the most successful professional wrestling tag teams of all time, the Road Warriors, a.k.a. Legion of Doom.
We're not going to let down the little Legion of Doomers. We're not letting down nobody.
His son James grew up watching his father in face paint, tights, and spiked shoulder pads.
That's all I knew, no matter what I did. If I dressed up for anything, I think I was him 4 times for Halloween, and just by my choice.
He would stand up in the corner of the stairs like it would be the corner of the ring and put, I'm the animal, and put his hand up. He still does it. The last time he came home, he had all my wrestling gear on and my spiked shoulder pads that say animal on the front of them.
What a rush!
Oh, what a rush!
Growing up in the Laurinaitis house, James learned a family lesson early: how to hit people hard.
Out of the blue, I feel this hard thump. And it's James diving, like a splash on Daddy, like Daddy's ready to play, right? Daddy's asleep.
He'd wake up a little angry at first, and then he'd get up and body slam me or suplex me once in a while.
That kind of physical play has followed Laurinaitis all the way to Ohio State. In his sophomore season, he has been his own Legion of Doom at middle linebacker.
Laurinaitis, who's had a monster night for the Buckeyes.
He's a leader. You wouldn't expect that out of a guy that's a sophomore. But, he demands, respect.
Picked up by Laurinaitis.
He's intense. He's a little animal.
James' play has spawned tributes to father and son. And although the uniform is different, the son of Animal still practices a few of his father's moves with his teammates.
Sometimes playing around, we'll hit each other with a chair, and one time, a guy, we took it a little too far where we actually kind of hurt each other.
We're not really trained in this area right here. I mean, it's cool to kind of throw a fake punch here and there, but pulling off a chair shot, something a little more different. I don't want to go into get a concussion.
If Coach Tressel only knew, what these guys are doing, it's all harmless fun. I'm my dad's little animal.
He's a good sport to play along. Road Warrior fans here. Vince McMahon has told James that he may have a future in professional wrestling after, of course, his NFL career. He's only a sophomore here, and I'm not sure his mom was all that excited about it. So let's break down the game plans here. I said Ohio State defense, it's been so dominant at the start of games, allowing only 13 points in the first quarter. Meanwhile, the Ohio State offense, Troy Smith finding Ginn and Gonzalez and Robisky and Antonio Pittman, that north-south runner, challenging the #1 rush defense in the country in Michigan. It's allowed less than 30 yards a game. Let's start with the Buckeye offense.
Okay, what makes Ohio State's passing so really sensational is Troy Smith. He uses all of his weapons. Last week, example, Troy hit 9 different receivers in one football game. He started off, Troy Smith hits Brian Hartline for a touchdown. Smith's only had 4 interceptions all year. And then he goes to Teddy Ginn Jr. Smith is 24-2 as a starter, and then he hits Anthony Gonzalez, and that is a touchdown. Now, you add Antonio Pittman to this, and Ohio State University has the best balanced offensive team in the nation. And Kirk, this one's for you. Listen to this. The Buckeyes average 44 points a game in the shoe. They are amazing when they get in here offensively.
Yeah, well, I think they just feel comfort in the stadium, and they are able to take off. I think the big challenge for Michigan's defense, the best defense in the country, is the way Ohio State can spread them with 4 wide receivers and run or throw, and it's the speed in which they have to be able to defend. That's why it comes down to Michigan's defensive line. I'm telling you right now, watch Michigan's front 4. This will be the key to the football game, and this will ultimately decide who wins the game. Can the front 4 provide enough of a push, not only against the run, but more importantly, when Troy Smith drops back to throw, can they get pressure with 4 the way they've been able to do all year? Lamar Woodley and especially Alan Branch getting a push through the middle are imperative for Michigan to be able to come into this game. If they start to blitz, they get into trouble if they have to blitz to get pressure, because then you're in man-to-man coverage, and that's where Troy Smith and his group of receivers can pick you apart. If they get after Troy Smith, they win the game.
Woodley, the defensive end, moves around to both sides, so Barton and Boone, they're both very good tackles for Ohio State. I'll have to both deal with him. He's been limited in recent weeks. Deep offensive lines have been able to control Woodley just a little bit. Michigan's offensively finally had a good game a week ago. They went a 4-game span before that where they were averaging 22 points. Not very explosive at all. Is one game back against Indiana enough of a confidence builder? They're ready for this thing here today.
Not against Ohio State's defense. Ohio State's defense is the #1 team in the nation in scoring, and Michigan will be lucky to score a point against these guys, especially with offensive balance. They got to start with the run first. I tell you why. Michael Hart is the key to winning this football game. With his zone blocking, watch his read, and there he goes. Boom. He loves this. He's never rushed for 100 yards against the Buckeyes. He's got to do it today. Then Chad Henning. Yes, sir. Stevie Preston. Preston has had back-to-back all-purpose yards of over 200 yards for the first time in his career. Now, the Ohio State defense uses the bend but don't break theory, and they're sensational in the red zone. So I think if Michigan's going to win this ball game, they've got to take calculated risks in the red zone. Even if they got to go to 4th down, even if they got to do anything, you will not beat the Ohio State Buckeyes in the shoe kicking field goals. You've got to score touchdowns, Michigan, today.
Well, I think playing into that, I think is the entire game plan for Mike DeBoer. He has done such a great job as a play caller for the Michigan offense this year by being aggressive. The 2 times they felt they were playing perceived to be equal talent, at Penn State and at Notre Dame, both times in the first half, they were throwing on 1st and 10. That's why Ohio State, first of all, they're going to try to stop the zone read. It's against Texas. Look at all of the white jerseys swarming to the ball. Negate the running game from Mike Hart. The Buckeyes will have to swarm to see if they can get Chad Henne in the obvious passing downs and then try to apply the pressure and come up with turnovers. Ohio State leads the nation with this defense with 21 interceptions, and Malcolm Jenkins is the guy to watch today, #2. But I'm telling you, in my opinion, how Michigan handles the crowd noise where they won't be able to communicate very well, and will they be willing to take chances on 1st and 10, not being conservative. If they're conservative, they're in trouble. They're going to be swimming upstream. They give Henne a chance on 1st and 10 with play action, going against some trends. They can move the ball in the Ohio State defense through the air.
Well, they did it at Notre Dame in a hostile environment in the first half.
Exactly.
A little more conservative after halftime.
What was the score at halftime?
Well,
that's when you start killing the clock.
That's an issue, too. Mario Manningham now. Lloyd Carr's been raving about his progress since coming back from that injury, but is he really 100% healthy? Can he be the big play weapon? If not, they rely on Breaston, who had a career game a week ago, but Manningham is so huge, I think.
I think you're right. And Lee, I don't know how you feel, but I think just getting him back, people are getting caught up too much in the numbers. Well, he didn't make any big plays. When you come back from an injury in the middle of the season, it's important just to knock the rust off and then get your confidence back. He has that now. He will be a factor in this game.
Forget about those skill people. This game's going to be one up front like all the Ohio State Michigan games. Come on. Find out who's better player.
For you to start punching.
I know. Let's go. Come on.
Well, we're almost inside of 3.5 hours to kick off. ABC's coverage beginning at 2:30 Eastern time. And hey, we got predictions ahead, Lee.
Oh, I picked the Big Blue before. I love the Buckeyes and the Herb Street boys. So coming up, I'm going to try to pick the winner of the world's greatest game right here. The Ohio State Buckeyes and the Herb Street boys. They're wonderful.
College Game Day is built by the Home Depot. Enter to win a trip for you and 10 friends to see College Game Day. Log on to ESPN.com, keyword Home Depot. And in part by Singular, raising the bar. And Pontiac. Vote for this week's Pontiac game-changing performance. Go to ESPN.com, keyword Pontiac.
Get ready for holiday guests with help from the Home Depot. A decorative sconce is a warm welcome to all visitors.
Wow.
You can transform your dining room with a unique paint project and a beautiful chandelier. Or change an entire room with a stunning new area rug.
Nice.
My mom did it.
Get started now at the Home Depot.
Hello, Mr. McDermott.
Call me Jim. You'll be my son-in-law in a few weeks.
Okay. Jim?
Actually, I hope you can think of me as a buddy.
Sounds good, Jim. Jimbo. Jimmy Boy, the Jimster. Jimmy Crackcorn, and I don't care. Jim? I mean, Mr. McDermott? Sir?
Switch to Singular with the fewest dropped calls. Now buy a Samsung phone and get 3 free.
2 out of every 3 Pontiacs sold have 200 horsepower or more. 2 out of 3 get 30 highway miles per gallon or better. They all come with the best coverage in America. In this holiday season, we tagged each one in red. And the price on that tag is the price you'll pay. Google Pontiac and check it out for yourself. The Pontiac Red Tag event. See some red, save some green.
Football on ABC. Michigan battles Ohio State. Coverage begins today at 2:30 Eastern. Then Saturday night football at 8. Cal takes on USC.
Saturday's Selections is powered by Pontiac, official performance machines of the NCAA.
We've talked this game from both sides, but you can never neglect the special teams in a game this big. For Ohio State, A.J. Trapasso, just a studly punter. Michigan in net punting at 77 nationally. That's not real good. They both have dangerous returners, of course, in Breaston and Ginn.
Oh, but you go 3 words for Ohio State. Teddy Ginn Jr. Teddy Ginn Jr. Guy's sensational.
I have 2 words for you. Steve Breaston. When it comes to punt returns, in fact, the last 2 games, 283 return yards for Breaston with a touchdown. Yeah. So he's an equalizer, and he could be a game changer himself.
Perfect. All right. He'll have to return the punt at Trapasso. It's pretty darn good.
Yeah, he kicks a long way.
Downing things. Yep. Time for our Pontiac game-changing performers. Lee, who do you got today?
I'm going with a Roll Tide quarterback, John Parker Wilson. He threw for 291 yards versus LSU last week. He's going to throw. Then he's going to throw some more. Then he's going to throw some more, and they're going to score in the red zone. Finally, Tide win it.
I'm with you on the prediction there, but my Pontiac game changer is going to be John David Booty for USC. Booty has been on fire in recent weeks. I think he plays well, and I think he is the difference in the game. The big playability, the Trojans offense gets it done tonight in a close game over Cal.
I understand the power of USC. Booty will play well, but when you're kicking the opposite quarterback, Nate Longshore. For better or worse, his performance tonight's going to decide what happens for the Golden Bears.
You get him a kitchen there?
Coming head-to-head on court. That's a new wrinkle for you right there. And the Pontiac game-changing performer. He's got to bounce back from the 3 picks a week ago against Arizona. And Lee Kirk and I will watch all the games and help decide the 4 nominees for the Pontiac game-changing performer. Watch college football final. Vote on ESPN.com, keyword Pontiac, to see which team will get the $5 grand in scholarship money this week. Time now for our Pontiac Saturday selections. You just tipped your hand. Here we'll go to the Iron Bowl. Can Auburn possibly make it 5 in a row over the Crimson Tide for the first time in about 50 years, and will Shula lose another one at Tuberville?
Not so fast, my friend. Alabama scores in the red zone by throwing the football. Alabama, mile upset over Auburn.
I think it comes down to the emotion in this game. It's a great rivalry. I know that Auburn's played well when they've gone to Tuscaloosa, but I just think that this is desperation time for the Crimson Tide. I think they'll find a way to win.
We've talked about the Razorbacks' chances down the line of getting into the BCS. The first business is to clinch the SEC West today by beating Mississippi State in Starkville. That's kind of an easy one. Give me a bonus pick, though, Friday, as the Bayou Bengals come to Little Rock as well to take on it.
Oh, I'm going with Arkansas no matter who they play. McFadden is the best big running back in the nation. I love Arkansas.
I think Arkansas beats Mississippi State, and I think they have to be careful of looking ahead to LSU. Darren McFadden is the real deal. This team, though, more importantly, starting to really come together and become confident, and I think they also win next week in Little Rock.
Now the other big game in the state of Ohio, it's tonight on ESPN in primetime. Rutgers against Cincinnati, an underrated team in uncharted waters, as we talked about for Rutgers. Can they handle the hype? Can they handle the expectations of wearing the big target and dodge the upset tonight?
Cincinnati's crazy. This is the 5th top 10 team that these guys have played. They're nuts. They're overscheduled. I like Rutgers. I'm telling you, that Rutgers and that chopping wood stuff, it's going okay.
Yeah, it is working. The wood chopping has been going pretty well for Greg Schiano, although I think if you tune into this game tonight, you will see Rutgers in a scare. I think UC plays well at home. Defense stops the run, which is what Rutgers wants to do, plus the emotions. I think I'll be shocked to see Rutgers sky high, closer than the experts think.
That's a noon game ESPN game plan. Miami needs a win to get bowl eligible after 3 straight losses. The Cavaliers of Virginia got to win to have a chance at a bowl.
Miami roller coaster up, down, that too much emotion, too much. Virginia at Virginia beats a drained Miami team.
Yeah, you and I agree on this game, because I think Virginia's quarterback Jamil Sewell is a future star in the ACC, and I think their defense is good enough to continue to give the Miami offense problems. I like Virginia at home.
Meanwhile, Wake Forest, they took out BC. They shut out the Seminoles. Now here comes Virginia Tech, and Wake Forest at 9-1, still fighting for respect. A touchdown underdogs on their home field against the Hokies, who've been up and down.
When you can beat Florida State 30-0, you're for real. I don't care how bad Florida State is. I think Wake wins this one, but it's a close defensive game against Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I think that Virginia Tech should win this game, but Wake Forest and Jim Grobe continue to find ways to win games. So I'm going to go with Wake, and I'll be very interested to see how they handle Prosperity. Now everybody patting them on the back, playing a very good team and a team that should beat them in the Hokies.
They're fighting for that ACC Atlantic. So are Maryland and Boston College. It's the Terrapins who control their destiny. Ralph Friedgen's team, we talked about it. They got some ugly stats, but the stats are beautiful when it comes to avoiding mistakes and turnovers. Tom O'Brien's Eagles need 2 wins, and they visit Miami on Thanksgiving night, and they need 2 losses by Wake Forest to get to the ACC championship game. But first, they got to get out of that one against Maryland on their own field.
Boston College has won 6 in a row at home. They beat Clemson, BYU, and Virginia Tech at home. I like Boston College.
I like Boston College too. Maryland, even though they've won 5 games in a row, you look at the way they've been able to get by, combined 13 points in those 5 games. So I think BC's able to win. They play good defense at home.
Yep.
Last week, Herb Street kicked Arizona in the cojones, inspired them, said they had 0% chance to get the big win against Cal. They did it. Now they got to go on the road against Oregon. The Ducks kind of limping in.
They got 0 chance to win at Oregon Autzen Stadium. Go Oregon. The Ducks will beat them.
Little hidden agenda there last week, and I'm almost inspired to pull it out again, because I think Arizona beats Oregon. I really do. I think that was a big win. They can get bowl eligible if they win today. I like the Wildcats.
First Rose Bowl for Cal since '58. Can they beat the Trojans in the Coliseum? ABC primetime.
California is the best all-around football team in the Pac-10, and they'll prove it today by beating USC.
I disagree. I think early in the year and throughout the first maybe 8 or 9 weeks, that was the case, but SC has been improving in the last 3 weeks. They'll prove it tonight on ABC against Cal. Close game, but SC and John David Booty get it done with a big play.
And now, final. The Wolverines and the Buckeyes, the game in this great rivalry that might carry an echo a little bit louder and a little bit longer throughout the history of college football. 50 days until Glendale, Arizona's BCS championship game. The winner will be there. The loser Perhaps, or maybe the Rose Bowl as a consolation prize. They're watching all over the globe. They're watching in Scotland, on the Rock of Gibraltar, in Paris, in Brussels, in Singapore, in South Africa, waiting to see what will happen. Ohio State has not won an outright Big Ten title in almost the lifetime of these students. Can they get that done? And the winner here will be undoubtedly the favorite to win the national championship. Kirk, you'll be calling the game with Brent and Bob Davies, so no predictions allowed, no children on the set. That's right. Give us the key to the victory.
Well, I'll give you 3 keys, and I think the first and foremost, the number 1 key is going to be how can Michigan deal with the Ohio State crowd? Can they silence the crowd? Can they communicate when this crowd is definitely going to be a factor? Number 2, Troy Smith against the Michigan defensive line is a huge, important key, and ultimately will decide who wins the game. If they don't pressure Troy Smith, he throws for over 200, 300 yards, and Ohio State wins. And the other thing, most importantly for Michigan's offense, taking chances, throwing the ball on 1st and 10 to set up the run. You cannot be conservative in this stadium against this defense with that crowd, so they have to take some chances and mix it up with balance on 1st and 10.
You know, I love you. Thanks so much. I love the Herb Street Boys.
Yeah.
I love O and H and I-O. But give me this one right here. I'm gone. This one is for Bo Schembechler. Bo, wherever you are, we need you on 4th down.
It was respectful at the start. There's the wrath at the end. The first time he's ever picked against Ohio State here. Time this season. He's been wrong. ABC at 2:30 Eastern here. Maryland and BC right now on ESPN. Enjoy.
Welcome, everyone, to ESPN's Rivalry Week, presented by Remington.
The final countdown to the most anticipated game of the season is underway in Columbus, Ohio. Number 1, Ohio State against number 2, Michigan. But a giant of this great rivalry is Michigan. Michigan arrived here with a heavy heart, having learned yesterday morning of the death of legendary former coach Bo Schembechler. Schembechler spoke to the team Thursday night just hours before he died. And along with former Ohio State coach Woody Hayes, Bo Schembechler elevated this rivalry to the status it now enjoys. The sun is shining brightly today, giving Bo and Woody a clearer view. But right now, let's go to John Saunders.
A candlelight vigil held last night on the campus of the University of Michigan at Ann Arbor for former coach and hero of the university, Bo Schembechler. John Saunders, Craig James, and Doug Flutie. We all have our memories of Bo Schembechler. I have 3 I'd like to share. In 1972, I was a 17-year-old kid out of Montreal being recruited by the University of Michigan. The hockey coach took me in to meet Bo. He said, "Son, don't make a mistake. Sign here." A year later, which was the last time that these 2 teams met, and they were both undefeated and untied, I was a freshman sitting in the stands there. And then 20 years later, Bo sat right next to me here in the studio. I'm going to miss him.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to miss him, too. Seeing him on that vision on the sideline, Bo Schembechler, 1989, he retired from coaching. And still, all you think about with Michigan football is Bo Schembechler.
Well, you know, and I grew up in Texas, and, you know, in Texas, we didn't know a whole lot about the Big Ten, but we knew about Bo Schembechler and Woody Hayes. Those 2 guys really set the standards for coaching. It was something that was legendary. In regards to this specific football game, how will it impact the football teams? I think both ball clubs are emotionally ready to play. I don't think you can get any more charged up for this game. Michigan won't have an emotional advantage in this game. They're already there. And I think because Friday it happened, all of the game preparation took place, so they'll be prepared for that.
Early on, though, in the game, most of the emotion, most of the thoughts will be on Bo. For more, here's Lisa Salters.
Thanks, John. Obviously, Michigan players will be playing with a heavy heart today, one day after the passing of Bo Schembechler. Team officials have told me that players will not be wearing any kind of tribute to Schembechler on their uniforms simply because they say there wasn't enough time to get any kind of logo put on their helmets or on their jerseys. A couple of injury updates for you. Linebacker Prescott Burgess missed last week at Indiana because of an ankle injury. Lloyd Carr says he will play today, and this will be the 3rd game back for wide receiver Mario Manningham. Chad Henne has said that Manningham has been running his routes well and has looked good at practice. all week. Now for more on the Buckeyes, let's send it over to Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, Lisa, Ohio State got to the stadium just before 2 o'clock after what was a pretty inspiring morning. Their guest speaker at the pregame brunch was NFL Hall of Famer Paul Warfield. He talked about being a part of the Buckeyes' 1961 champion team, as well as the Miami Dolphins' perfect season in 1972. And he said, all of the great clubs I played with, the one thing they have in common is they play like a team. John?
Bonnie, thanks a lot. One of the stories out of this was that Bo Schembechler went out and bought a 50-inch TV so he could watch this game. You get the feeling he's still going to watch. He's just got a lot bigger screen right now. With more on that, here's Wendy Nix.
John, with kickoff a little over an hour away, activity has picked up here in Ann Arbor. But it was last night that nearly 1,000 students, faculty, and members of the Michigan community gathered for a candlelight tribute to Bo Schembechler. But this was not your ordinary tribute. There was the Michigan fight song, and massive applause erupted with any mention at all of beating Ohio State. Those who know him best tell me that is exactly what Bo Schembechler would have wanted. Across campus this morning, there are signs and ribbons, many of which read, "Win this one for Bo." Certainly the sentiment here in Ann Arbor. The university has also announced, in conjunction with Schembechler's wife and son, there will be a memorial service on Tuesday at 1 o'clock at where else but the Big House. John, back to you.
Wendy, thanks a lot. And don't be surprised if there's 110, 114,000 people there. Bob Lee, of course, has covered college football for over 30 years. So who better than to pass this obit on Bo Schembechler?
As much as any man who ever coached, Bo Schembechler embodied his school. There in the grandest of throwback stadiums, in the richest of all rivalries, his legend was written in a 10-year war with another sports icon, Woody Hayes. Schembechler's first year at Michigan, he welcomed a top-ranked Buckeye team on a 22-game win streak, with Michigan still smarting from a pasting the year before.
It was 48-14. Ohio State had run over Michigan. And it was down to, they scored with just a little time left and made it 48-14, and Woody went for 2. When they asked him, why did you go for 2? He said, because I couldn't go for 3. And so all of that added fuel to the fire.
Schembechler's team upset the Buckeyes, and through that decade against Hayes, he won 5 games and tied 1. It was a fierce collision of coaching wills, sharpened all the more by their shared heritage. Hayes, as the new coach of Miami of Ohio, had in 1949 inherited the young Schembechler as a lineman. Later, Schembechler coached under Hayes at Ohio State before leaving for Ann Arbor, or what Hayes would only call that school up north.
We had no relationship. Now make it clear that throughout, when his career ended, the best friend that Woody had in coaching was me. Now, but during the 10-year war, we didn't talk.
Schembechler's 21 years as Michigan coach produced 13 Big Ten champions and 17 bowl bids. Late in his coaching career, he took the job of athletic director. And in 1989, on the eve of the men's basketball tournament, he fired Coach Bill Frieder, who had just accepted the job at Arizona State beginning the next season. His reasoning was characteristically Bo.
I don't want somebody from Arizona State coaching the Michigan team. And I want that understood. A Michigan man is going to coach Michigan.
Schembechler later worked as president of the Detroit Tigers, a tenure best remembered for the controversy sparked by the firing of beloved play-by-play icon Ernie Harwell. Schembechler endured vast public blame for the move.
I didn't fire Ernie Harwell. I gave him the highest contract he ever had. He fired himself. He's the guy that called a press conference and said I fired him. So if you're going to ask me about Ernie Harwell, I can't tell you a lot of nice things about him.
Just last month, Schembechler collapsed and doctors implanted a device to regulate his heartbeat. He had a history of cardiac problems, including a heart attack on the eve of the 1970 Rose Bowl.
Now keep in mind, first year I had a heart attack at the Rose Bowl, and I came home, and I was recuperating at home. The first man in my house was Woody Hayes.
They will always be linked in the mind's eye. Both now gone, ironically, on the eve of a game given life by the games and the men they coached. Glenn Bo Schembechler, a Titan in maize and blue, a Michigan man.
And despite the fact Bo hasn't coached in almost 30 years, a legend will live on.
Brought to you by the Nissan Titan.
The 23 flavors in every Dr. Pepper add up to so much taste. 23 is always on the tip of your tongue.
So at the end of the 23rd quarter, it's all tied up, 23-23.
We'll be back after a brief 23-second timeout.
Thanks, guys. Dr. Pepper and ESPN are giving you a chance to throw for $1 million. Go to ESPN.com, keyword Pepper to enter. Because with 23 flavors in every Dr. Pepper, there's always more to it.
Today I will earn rewards points in more ways than ever before. And I will do it while Victor tries to distract me. First, I get points for using my Citibank debit card. Next, I get points for my Citi mortgage. Now my greatest secret, points for using my Citi Premier Pass credit card. Istanbul, please. No madness can stop Citi's many rewarding ways. Victor, pull yourself together. Rewarding. Very, very, very rewarding.
Golf's Thanksgiving tradition returns to ABC. Defending champ Fred Funk, John Daly, Fred Couples, and Stephen Ames. The LG Skins game next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern on ABC.
College Football Countdown, presented by Nissan, proud presenter of the 2006 Heisman. Visit theheismanvote.com to cast your vote. The following is a special presentation of ESPN on ABC.
This is the day, the time, the moment they've been waiting and fighting for. And yes, they fight. They fight hard with yards, feet, even inches. They give their all as these Titans clash in the trenches. There's a fire in their soul that fuels the passion, that pumps their heart, that beats intensity. It's number one versus number two, going head to head, put it all on the line. But the question still remains, who will it be? Will it be?
Welcome back to ESPN's College Football Countdown, presented by Nissan on ABC. The Skull Session is what they call it, the pep rally, and their head coach Jim Tressel. A few words, it looks like, although he doesn't need very, very many when he's got an outstanding quarterback like Troy Smith. And that's the story of this game, guys, as many people see it with two quarterbacks.
No doubt about it. Troy Smith has played great against Michigan the past 2 years. He's handled the big game scenarios, the game this year against Texas, and he's got that run for the Heisman going, and this is going to make him or break him for the Heisman this year.
Well, let me tell you about make or break. Michigan's Henny has to make plays. Troy Smith, everybody's picking Ohio State to win because of Troy Smith. It's time for Chad Henne to come out and to make plays. He can't have interceptions, make mistakes. He's got to make plays for them to win.
This much we know. This is a semifinal game because the winner of this game will go on to play for the national championship. What we don't know is that the loser may go on to play for the national championship in a rematch as well. Let's take a look at how they got here.
No.
Following a dismal 7-5 season, Michigan got everyone's attention with an early season dismantling of second-ranked Notre Dame on the road. Since then, Big Blue has racked up win after win behind a stifling defense that has allowed under 30 rushing yards per game, a number that ranks among the stingiest in history. On offense, the Wolverines are just as physical, as junior running back Mike Hart has rushed for over 100 yards in 8 games this season. A big reason why Michigan leads the nation in time of possession. Ohio State began the season as the #1 team in the country and has never looked back. Their early season whipping of #2 Texas on the road was a sign of things to come. Defense was supposed to be their Achilles heel. The Buckeyes, despite 9 new starters, have allowed a microscopic 7.8 points per game. Senior quarterback Troy Smith has had some of his best games against Michigan, and this season has thrown 26 touchdown passes against only 4 interceptions, making him the leading Heisman candidate heading into his final regular season game. Never happened before. These two teams met 1 and 2. Now, this game is huge if both teams were 1 and 10 coming in. Under these stakes, what's the most exciting thing you're looking for?
Well, first of all, I do not believe there'll be a rematch.
No,
I am definitely against that. There's no way. This is their chance for a national championship game. This is the playoff game. There will be no rematch between these two schools, whoever loses. Now, in terms of the game itself, the passion, the speed. Bo Schembechler, when he was coaching there, it was 3 yards in a cloud of dirt. You know, now it's a team where you've got spread out, down the field, throwing and excitement. But you'll see in this game passion and execution like you can't see on most Saturdays. And Doug, that passion on a football field, there'll be a lot of good hits.
Just a boxing match? There will be no rematch?
There'll be no rematch.
What I'm waiting to see is who handles the pressure situations well. The enthusiasm, obviously, over 100,000 people. The atmosphere, the build-up, they've been waiting for this game for 5 weeks. Who steps up with the pressure on, when it's all on the line, and gets it done? Will it be Troy Smith, Chad Henne, Mario Manningham, Ted Ginn? Who's going to make the big plays when they have to make it under pressure?
Or Michigan's defense.
Michigan, as a whole, their defense needs
Ohio
a
State's defense.
Could be them, too.
Both have good defenses as well. Let's take a look at the BCS top 8. And when you look at this, all of you out there screaming for a playoff, you know, I've always contended we have a playoff. It just starts on September 1st. But when you take a look at the games that are coming up in the coming weeks, it is as if we have a playoff, right? Michigan facing Ohio State, Notre Dame against USC, Rutgers unbeaten facing West Virginia. Then you got the SEC championship game there as well. Arkansas wins. It would be against Florida if they clinch that today. So it's like a mini playoff that we have coming up right now in the next couple of weeks.
And those teams who have those 1 losses out there, they've got to continue to win. But right now you start looking at teams who are playing really well with 1 loss. I like Arkansas. I think the Razorbacks are playing extremely well. They're timing it out well right now. I don't think the Florida Gators are playing as well as a team right now at this time in the season.
Yeah, they're limping along. They're winning big today, but in general, the bottom line for all this is no one has a complaint if they don't get there. If they don't get there, it's their own fault. They all have an opportunity. You talk about potentially Rutgers going undefeated. They may fall to West Virginia. It opens the door and gives teams like USC, Notre Dame a second chance. And some of these teams are already getting their second chance. So everyone's had that opportunity to go after it, and there are no complaints at the end of the year.
USC right now is in that #3 position, but they've got the all-important game later tonight here on ABC, Saturday Night Football, as they take on Cal. Not as much luster because Cal picked up a couple losses, but just the same, the winner is going to be the Pac-10 champion.
Can Nate Longshore deal with USC's defense? USC's got a defense. They're good over there. They've got a team that really got rid of all the pressure once they had that loss. So now it's USC's game. They're playing not only for a Rose Bowl, but they're playing for a national championship game. Cal's playing for a shot to go to the Rose Bowl. But it all falls on Longshore's shoulders. He can't make mistakes. USC's defense will take the ball and give it back to John Davis.
And they have to control Deshaun Jackson. He gets in the loose, it's all over. But the bottom line here is USC has a second opportunity. They've gained that second chance. The pressure was off after the loss, like Craig said, and now they're playing loose and relaxed again. Maybe they get that swagger back and take a run now.
You guys have each held a lot of honor over the years. I know that for the great careers that you've had, but neither one of you nor I has ever had the honor of dotting the I on Script, Ohio. However, Jack Nicklaus did earlier this year, a special honor as the great golfer, dotted the I, and here's Bonnie Bernstein with today's Lucky Man.
Dan Wanders is the envy of every Buckeye fan in the land and one of the school's most historic games. He will dot the I during Script, Ohio. Now, Dan, you really never thought about going to Ohio State until your senior year. How'd that go down?
You know, I didn't even apply to Ohio State before the end of my senior year, actually. It took my wrestling coach to convince me. He knew I played the tuba, and, you know, he said, why don't you just go down to Ohio State, check it out, and see if you could dot the I someday. And so I took a tour around campus and just fell in love with the place. And the past 4 years, it's all I've thought about.
Now you're about to be a part of history here. Now, there's a tradition every Sunday before the Michigan game. The football team, the marching band get together. You teach them how to go through Script, Ohio. What was that experience like for you?
It was a lot of fun. Being the I-dotter, I got to choose a football player to take my spot out there. So of course,
this is a tough one to guess, right?
Of course, I'm going after our Heisman hopeful here, Troy Smith. And I handed my tuba, said, Troy, I'd love to have you dot the I tonight. He was really excited about it, and he did pretty well. He had a pretty nice looking strut out there. He did well.
Did he try to play it?
No, he didn't try to play it. He just enjoyed the bow. He was soaking it up. It was fun. He had a big smile on his face.
So I guess he's going to stick to his day job. Now, if karma here is important at all, it's worth noting that the other game where Dan dotted the I this past year just happened to be against Texas Week 2, and we know who won that game. Back to you.
Lonnie, obviously things working out extremely well. When we come back, we'll hear from the game day crew, including Heisman Trophy winner Desmond Howard.
Nothing compares to the right gift. That's why our pledge is to wow everyone on your list.
And now, get the movies, music, and video games they really want and earn double Reward Zone program points. Wrap up the wow, only at Best Buy.
Why you always get the first? Because I have the higher point.
Hey, it's Bobby Bowden. I'm gonna touch him.
Now would be a good time to have accident forgiveness. Part of Allstate Your Choice Auto Insurance. Are you in good hands?
Class of '94, here I come.
When you want to make a good impression, Enterprise Rent-A-Car will pick you up free and get you going in style.
Looking good, Moose.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
$1 Million Answers, $1 Million Dancers, and one priceless host.
Show me the money.
William Shatner hosts Show Me the Money. Series premiere Wednesday at 8/7 Central, only on ABC.
You're watching ESPN on ABC. This week's Heisman Memory, presented by Nissan, focuses on Michigan and Ohio State. These storied programs have collected 9 Heismans between them, including 2 by Archie Griffin, still the only player to win the sport's most coveted trophy twice. The most recent recipient for the Buckeyes was Eddie George in 1995. Big Blues' last winner was Charles Woodson in '97. Is there a future winner in today's game? Visit theheismanvote.com to cast your 2006 vote. This aerial coverage is brought to you by Goodyear Tires, featuring triple tread technology with 3 separate tread zones for peace of mind in any type of weather. Time now for the Nissan Shift as we take a look at some scores and highlights from around the country, including big one for Florida against Western Carolina. This is going to hurt them. For the computers, Tim Tebow, 21 yards in the run, 27-0. Then Tebow, 56 yards to Riley Cooper.
And this was one of those games where Urban Meyer was able to fulfill a little recruiting promises to Tim Tebow. He's had a lot of snaps in this ball game. Florida trying to get it going, but again, it's Western Carolina.
Yeah, again, Tebow normally seen him on the ground through the air here, Doug, to Riley Cooper.
Yeah, he's got a great arm, throws the ball in there well. We've been seeing him running with the football a lot this year. Today, he finally got a chance to air it out a little bit and let the ball fly.
2 touchdown runs and 2 touchdown passes as well. As you can see, Arkansas and Mississippi State Scoreless, Arkansas would clinch a berth in the SEC championship game with a win there. Notre Dame, it's early on, but a scoreless against Army. Maryland and Boston College, very important game for the ACC championship. Boston College still has a chance. Maryland still has a chance. Danny Akindo fumbles, almost has it back, and then Jolon Dunbar goes 14 yards for a touchdown.
Boston College doesn't run an offensive play, and they're in the end zone 7-0.
14-0 on another fumble recovery. Sam Hollenbach here, picked off by DeJuan Tribble, who returns at 41.
You know what, though, Doug? I got to be telling you, I'm disappointed. Boston College, what's that?
I got to talk to my boy. Hey, Spaz is getting on him right there. Defense coordinator all over him for the 15-yard penalty.
Control. So Boston College still in the hunt for the ACC championship. Georgia Tech, we know they're going on. They're 28-0. And Virginia Tech and Wake play later tonight. That's also very important in the ACC. Right now, it's time to join the guys from College Game Day with Chris Lee and the 1991 Heisman Trophy winner, Desmond Howard.
On a balmy day, amidst this sea of scarlet, there's a few little islands of maize and blue. These folks fortunate to have tickets. They're going for about $3,000 on the internet this morning. Meanwhile, among the 770,000 living alums of these two schools combined, they're watching on the satellite, on the internet, around the world, we're told, in places like Scotland and South Africa, Rock of Gibraltar, Singapore, a pub in Paris. That's how big the reach is. There's ever been a game in this series, 1 versus 2, or with longer and louder echoes throughout the history of college football. So, guys, it's a global event, Lee and Desmond, but inside the white lines in that stadium, give me just one game changer.
Just one? Okay, how about number 56, Lamar Woodley from Michigan, the defensive end. The reason why he's important, he's got to come from the outside and force Troy Smith inside, because once Troy Smith goes to the outside, he can run and throw. I like Woodley. I like the Michigan defense, and I'm telling you, if he has a good game, they got a chance.
There's no doubt about that. I like Lamar Woodley, and if he does his job, then look out for number 15, Stevie Breston. Stevie Breston, from a punt returner standpoint, can shrink the field, and that will help that offense tremendously when you have Chad Henne, Mike Hart, and Mario Manningham in a position to score points.
Manningham must prove that he's healthy. They got to take chances. I think Michigan have any chance to win this ball game. Give me your pick, Lee.
Okay, I'm picking Michigan. Ohio State has not beaten a winning football team since September. Michigan is excellent on the road to beat Notre Dame, Penn State there. I like Michigan in a close one.
I like Michigan too, maybe not so close, but I like that defense. I think if they can just contain Troy Smith, turn him into a one-dimensional quarterback, that greatly increases their chance of pulling off the upset here in the horseshoe.
Objective? I don't know about that. Well, in the recent election, there was a shift here in Ohio from a red state to a little bit more of a blue state. We'll have to see if that is an omen here. The sun is shining, the wait almost over. The atmosphere tremendous. Let's go to Reese Davis now in the Bristol, Connecticut ESPN studios. Reese?
All right, Chris, Lou Holtz, Mark May alongside. Troy Smith needs 21 yards to become the most productive player in the history of this rivalry. Brian Hartline says, with Troy Smith, we can't lose. So we play Take Your Pick. Is Hartline right?
I think he is. I think he's right because of the tremendous offense. You take Troy Smith through 26 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Then you have Antonio Pittman, the great running back. You got Ted Ginn with 8 touchdown receptions, great speed. And then Anthony Gonzalez, 7 touchdown receptions. And we didn't even get to Rubisky.
I think he's right because of the tight ends are going to play an instrumental role in this game. Rory Nichols, 6'5", 11 receptions, 3 touchdown passes. But it's the defense, turnovers, 21 interceptions on the season. They will create plays for the Ohio State defense. That's why they'll win the game.
What should make your pick wrong? What would Michigan have to do to turn it, Mark?
Create turnovers on their own. Make sure that the Ohio State offense turns the ball over to their defense. But the winner of this football game is going to be the winner who wins up front in the trenches that dominates the line of scrimmage.
And I think the winner will be the team that makes the other one one-dimensional. Take away the run, force them to pass, don't let them run and pass.
And there's the emotional side for Michigan, too, with the passing of Bo Schembechler yesterday. Earlier in the week, Bo said, I'm as excited as you because I love to see Michigan and Ohio State come down to the end. It's what we expect to see, John.
Reese, thanks a lot. Everyone is fired up, but guys, I believe this game comes down to the guys who can make the big plays.
Yeah, for Michigan, that's Mario Manningham. You can put the ball up for grabs for him, throw it up. Even if he's covered, he can lay out and go get it. He's finally back to full speed this week. He's come back off an injury the last couple of weeks, and this week he's back at full speed.
And then Ted Ginn Jr., not only on special teams, but underneath with the passing game. He's got to be able to catch the ball and stretch the defense.
Back after this word from our ABC stations.
The stage has been set. They've been looking forward to this moment, so of course there's no looking back. It's number 1 versus number 2 going head-to-head, put it all on the line, but the question still remains, who will it be?
Intelligent key technology that knows you. Seats that hug you. A ride that spoils you. The next Nissan Maxima, part of the next generation of Nissan thinking.
Prepare for the next blockbuster holiday event. Snoop Dogg, Lionel Richie, Josh Groban, Sean Mayer, Gwen Stefani, Barry Manilow, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Carrie-Anne, Mary J. Blige, Snow Patrol, and more. In a world where music is power and where names sound really cool, Rascal Flatts, when you read them like this. Only one night brings them all together. Jimmy Kimmel hosts the American Music Awards live Tuesday at 7 Central, only on ABC.
It is something you may face at a time when you're most vulnerable. It can save lives, yet it lacks support from an important tri-state medical leader. It can generate large amounts of money, and you probably thought it was free. Most of us believe it's the right thing to do. So what's happening with your good intentions? The I-Team's Hagit Lamore investigates a story that'll have you and your neighbors talking. A special 2-part investigation.
We're the weather technology leader in the market for a reason. And the Ultimate Doppler 9 Radar Network is what we're all about. Now, part of that Ultimate Doppler 9 Radar Network, newly released software with even more detailed street-by-street sweeps. You know, we're the only station in the market with this advanced technology that actually lets us search out the strongest part of the storm, giving you the most accurate forecast so you can stay safe, no matter where you live.
Tune in to Good Morning Tri-State for your wake-up call.
ABC.
In Columbus, Ohio, the final countdown continues toward the game of the year. Number 1, Ohio State, and number 2, Michigan. For the winner, an outright Big Ten championship and a berth in the national championship game. But today's matchup is missing a giant. Former Michigan coach Bo Schembechler died yesterday, just hours after addressing the Wolverines one last time. And indeed, the Wolverines and their fans will play this one in the memory of Bo Schembechler. Welcome, everybody. I'm Brett Musburger. Pleasure to be along with you on a gorgeous day here in Columbus. Alongside me, of course, Kirk Herbstreit, one-time quarterback here at Ohio State, former Notre Dame head coach Bob Davie. Kirk, the three of us, you're the only one partner who was ever recruited by Bo Schembechler. Tell us about that.
Well, I consider that an honor. I actually was raised in a household where my dad played at Ohio State. He was a captain at Ohio State, coached with Woody, but also coached with Bo Schembechler. He went down to Miami of Ohio with Bo, and for me, I grew up always respecting and admiring everything that Bo stood for. And to have a chance to finally become good enough to be recruited, and I just wanted to go through the process and have Bo have a chance to recruit me, just because I wanted to see what it was really like to be recruited by a legendary coach like Bo Schembechler.
And Bob, of course, Lloyd Carr, the head coach at Michigan, he's the last member of a Bo Schembechler staff, and there was a very special relationship between Lloyd and Bo.
Brent, you and I had the chance to visit with Lloyd down on the field yesterday, and he talked about Bo's loyalty. And there's one story I'll never forget. A couple years ago, I went up to do a Michigan game on television. And at that time, Michigan was struggling. Lloyd was getting some heat. So I asked Bo about it. And Bo bristled, as you know, only Bo could. And he said, I'll tell you what, anybody that gets to Lloyd Carr is going to have to come through me first. And that says it all to me. A man's man, somebody you would love to play for, somebody you'd love to coach for.
And you know, guys, Mitch Albom, a wonderful writer, wrote a biography of Bo Schembechler, and he reflects on the legendary former Michigan coach.
When Bo Schembechler died Friday, people said it was his time, but it was not his time. Friday morning at a hospital was not his time. His time was Saturday afternoons from September to November. His time was chilly autumn practices as the sun disappeared. His time was any minute he spent on the Michigan campus. Almost everything about Bo Schembechler was contagious, his laughter, his passion, but mostly his fierce loyalty to his school. When he first arrived in Ann Arbor, the facilities he inherited were meager, but when assistants complained about folding chairs and hooks on walls, Schembechler said, "Men, this may be the hook Fritz Chrysler once used. There is great tradition here." He made that tradition precious. He won more games than any Wolverine coach in history. He fought his mentor, Woody Hayes, in the 10-year war, and he made Michigan-Ohio State arguably the biggest rivalry in all of college sports. There is not an element of the program today that is not touched in some way by Bo, from the current head coach to the team's facilities. As a teenager, Bo and his father once sneaked a peek at a Michigan practice through a gate by an empty field. Today, that field houses a building. It's called Schembechler Hall. When he finally retired, Bo kept an office in that building and was never more than a hallway away from the coach and players. Even Friday, his last day on earth, he was breaking down Michigan-Ohio State for a weekly TV show. That's when death finally blindsided Bo, done in by the very organ that defined him, his heart. It stunned us because he'd survived so many scares, we all thought he was indestructible. And part of him still is, like the part that lives on in the memories of his players. He stood up in their weddings, he visited them in hospitals, counseled their children. He was their coach long after they stopped playing. Bo Schembechler could fill up a room and fill up a moment. He could, as Kipling said, walk with kings and not lose the common touch. So it was his time to go, but it was not his time. That time is this afternoon, when a whistle blows and a foot meets a football. For the first time in nearly 4 decades of Michigan-Ohio State, Bo may not be watching, but he'll be everywhere you look. For ESPN, this is Mitch Albom.
You always remember how you received bad news, and it was actually Ohio State coach Jim Trussell who told us yesterday during a meeting with Jim and his staff. And then for about 10 minutes, we told anecdotes about the legendary coach. Jim pointed upwards at the heaven at one point and said, "Bo will have the best seat in the house for the game tomorrow." And after this commercial break, we'll check in with John Saunders.
Brought to you by the Nissan Titan.
What if you could get rid of credit cards that don't offer meaningful rewards and get one that offered more ways to earn more cash than anyone else? Take charge with Discover Card. What if you could get rid of credit cards that aren't upfront and clear and get one that gives you the tools and information to make decisions that work for you? Take charge at discovercard.com/whatif.
Let's kick back for the moment. Toss all your worries in the air, 'cause you'll forget them when you're there. Let's go out back tonight.
Let go of the day. Go out back tonight. But the steak is thick and juicy. The shrimp is grilled and sweet. The chicken, tender. Your only worry is which to choose.
Let's go out back tonight.
Tonight, let go.
Life will still be there tomorrow.
Go out back.
Thanksgiving night, a Gray's event so big.
We crossed the line.
You dragged me across the line. 1 hour.
What could I do?
Hold on! Is not enough. An all-new extended Gray's Anatomy, Thanksgiving Thursday, 9/8 Central, only on ABC.
You're watching ESPN on ABC. We've heard many reasons why one team should win over another. What about the running back?
Well, I think Antonio Pittman, he adds an element to this offense, which is speed. I really like his breakaway speed versus Mike Hart's. I think he can make the big play, whether it's catching the ball out of the backfield or running it. The zone stretch read, really a big weapon that sets up play action.
And Mike Hart, he's a physical runner downhill. He's going to get positive yards all the time. Great by hanging on to the ball. 726 touches without a turnover. He did lay one on the ground a couple weeks ago.
The last time these two teams met when they were both unbeaten and untied was 1973. I was fortunate enough to be a freshman, and it was the very first college football game I ever saw. It did not disappoint.
Ohio will dig in with a 9-man front. Michigan's easy edge. Shuttlesworth, you can rest assured, he'll get the ball now. They need 2 inches. Dennis Franklin, the quarterback, taking a long count from center. He heads off to Shuttlesworth 5, and it's down to the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown, Dennis Franklin! Oh, my God, Dennis Franklin fooled everybody. He fooled me. He fooled the entire Ohio State team. They're going to tie it up. Attempting will be Super Toe. Dickinson over there. It's a tied-up ball game. 10-10. Oh, we're not excited, not one damn bit.
I got to tell you, I grew up in a suburb of Montreal of about 20,000 people. So when I saw 107,000 people, I had no idea what I was watching.
But you partied with all of them before the game, didn't you?
And after.
And afterwards.
How
about the Super Toe extra point? Slap him on the head,
well,
kick it
Super
through?
Toe, obviously. I ran onto the field after that. Let's take a look at the programs and see how they compare. Ohio State and Michigan, Big Ten titles. Michigan with the edge, perfect seasons. Michigan has the edge, national titles, the same thing. But Heisman trophies, more have gone to the Ohio State Buckeyes. But those things don't matter today when we get on the field.
No, but I tell you what really is at stake now is to continue momentum right now. That's really what, Troy Smith and all of his teammates are trying to do for recruiting purposes. And when you talk about Troy Smith, 2-0 against Michigan has been outstanding. His numbers are spectacular. Nearly 67% of his passes he's completed. He just doesn't make mistakes. He throws the ball down the field. He can use his legs. This season, we've seen Troy throwing the ball more than running it. But that's something that you can't fall asleep on defensively because he can run the ball and he can run it extremely well.
Well, to shut him down is Lamar Woodley. Lamar is tough coming off the edge. He's one of those tweener defensive end linebacker types. They have a great front seven. Michigan stops the run first. They need to pressure the quarterback, get in his face, and make Troy Smith uncomfortable this week.
So if you break it down, quite simply, some people see it this way. Others, you could flip the coin and see it the other way. But let's look at it as Michigan's offense against Ohio State's defense.
And when I watched both of these schools on tape this week, I was really looking at an offense that when they go to I formation with a fullback and a tailback back there, neither one of them did extremely well because the defenses bunch up against them. It's when they have one back in the backfield that they can run the ball or they can hand it off. The play action out of that series is really the best way they do it. And so I think it's Michigan's offense, and Chad Henne, going out and making plays is one thing, but he has to spread the ball around. He's got plenty of talent around him to do an extremely good job.
His number one job, don't turn it over today. After that, it's run the ball as much as possible, and when you do go play action, go for the home run ball and make some big plays. You got Mario back at full speed. Lay it out there. Let you guys make some plays for you. The play action passing game is the biggest part of their offense where they can make their big plays.
By the way, for people who heard me talking about going to Michigan, I only stayed a semester, so I transferred to Western Michigan, so it doesn't mean I'm pulling for the Wolverines. Some other scores to look at today. Florida stepping into 1AA and clobbering 62-0. Arkansas in a little battle with Mississippi State. They win this, and they're going to the SEC title game.
Boy, how about the Irish Army dancing with them?
Tiptoe dancing. 3-0 is the score right now. And the winner of this game, all right, we know Michigan or Ohio State is going to be in the national championship game. You've ruled out the possibility of a rematch. Who's got the best shot of meeting them there?
Well, I think the Irish right now, because of the standings, Notre Dame stands right there ready and poised. All they have to do is take care of business. Beat Army, which they'll do today, despite those green jerseys, and then go out there and beat USC. If they do that, the Irish are really set up really well to be able to play for the national championship game. I don't think they're the best team, though. Right. I think they're positioned to be there. I think Arkansas is the best team right now playing well.
And you said Notre Dame has to beat USC. USC can beat Cal. USC could beat Notre Dame, and then they have UCLA down the wire. USC sitting there in that number 3 spot now with a tough schedule after it. So if they can make it through that schedule, I think they've got the best opportunity.
Yeah, I think being number 3 right now, if they run the table, USC is going to be in the 4th straight national championship game. James Laurinaitis, he's the guy who leads this defense. His dad was a wrestler. He wrestles them down on the field. And when we come back, we will talk to the coaches, Lloyd Carr and Jim Tressel, see how much they're looking forward to the big showdown.
The 23 flavors in every Dr. Pepper add up to so much taste. 23 is always on the tip of your tongue.
And so, at the end of the 23rd quarter, it's all tied up, 23-23.
X is the square root of Y. True or false? Karen.
23? Dr. Pepper. With 23 flavors and one mind-blowing taste, there's more to it.
Relationships in life are more important than the one between you and your Michelin tires. Rugged, long-lasting Michelin truck tires. Michelin, a better way forward.
Using only my City Premier Pass credit card, I earn rewards points crazy fast, and I will do it restrained with this restraining device. I start with the points for buying my ticket and Victor's ticket, then earn points for my miles and his. Unbelievable. Using only the City Premier Pass credit card, I rock the house. Big time. Rewarding. Very, very, very rewarding.
The most talked about new shows are only on ABC Wednesday. The show that's just as addicting as Lost. In just one look, you'll know why.
My family, Rita, their lives are in danger because I'm being framed for murder.
An all-new Daybreak. What happened in there? Now you'll know.
Lizzie and I can't be together despite the child we are about to have.
As one of their darkest secrets is revealed.
Because of me.
An all-new episode of The Nine. It all starts Wednesday, 9/8 Central, only on ABC.
You're watching ESPN on ABC. These two teams, well, show up at midfield, stare each other down a little bit. The Ohio State Buckeyes get to the 0 first before the Michigan guys can. This is what the players feel about just how big this game is.
First, I really couldn't understand why everybody shared such a passion for this. But now I'm a part of it. You know, now I'm running out the tunnel with these guys.
It's going to be fun just going in a hostile environment. The crowd's great there. You can't even hear yourself talk on the sideline.
This is the game of all games. To me, this is the greatest rivalry in all of sports.
Probably the biggest game in this university's history.
You know, everybody in the country is going to be watching this game.
Being a college football fan, 1 and 2, you know, for all the marbles is, you know, the fairy tale story.
The booth to our right. He was.
Now, one of the questions about this entire matchup is the coaches, because Jim Tressel, you see there, has a 4-1 record against Michigan and a national title in that. Lloyd Carr against Jim Tressel is just 1-4. Lloyd Carr was great against John Cooper. As a matter of fact, he's 8-5 all-time against the Ohio State Buckeyes. The question is, if you look at the coaching comparison, is there pressure on the Michigan players to win this game for their coach because of the record against the other coach?
I think there is. I think that weighs on Carr a little bit, and you can see it in some of his interviews, the way he gets a little anxious about it and all that. So I think there is pressure there, and I think when that happens, everyone presses just a little bit. You've got to be loose and relaxed going into a big game.
Yeah, but you know what he is? That's just his nature, though. Lloyd Carr, he's just kind of one of those guys. He's not going to give you love if you're in the media business, and he doesn't like you. That's the way it is. But when I look at it, I look at Lloyd Carr's record against AP top teams. And And when you talk about his top 5 opponents, he's gone in there and beat them 8 out of 10 times. The man knows how to coach. He's 16-6 against top 20 guys in the AP. So I really believe Lloyd Carr, it's just a matter that the cards haven't fallen his way lately against Jim Tressel.
So you're saying that Lloyd Carr doesn't necessarily like guys in our business?
He don't like us.
That's why we do not have Lloyd Carr for an interview. We do, however, have Jim Tressel. He's with Lisa Salters.
Jim, I know it won't surprise you that Lloyd Carr will probably appeal to his team to win this one for Bo Schembechler. How do you try to offset that emotion with your team?
Well, we've got a lot of emotion as well, and you know, our kids are good kids. I'm sure they're thinking of Bo Schembechler too, because they love the game. They know that he was a Buckeye as well, but you know, I think our emotion is more about our seniors and about our kids. But you know, I would be disappointed if the Wolverines weren't thinking about Bo, because he meant so much, you know, to the school and to the game.
Speaking of one of your seniors, we all know what Troy Smith can do, especially against Michigan. But tell me what you see in Antonio Pittman that gives you the confidence he could find success against the best run defense in the country.
Well, Antonio's a good football player, and he's got good guys in front of him and good guys around him. And, you know, he runs hard, and he runs with a lot of passion, and we're going to need him to do well against the best run defense.
Coach, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Bonnie.
That, of course, was Bonnie Bernstein with Jim Tressel. When we come back, Lisa Salters did manage to get Lloyd Carr to say a few words. The big game is just moments away, and our guys will let you know who's going to win.
Class of '94. Here I come.
When you want to make a good impression, Enterprise Rent-A-Car will pick you up free and get you going in style.
Looking good, Moose.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Come on, Birdwood, hurry up.
And Ferguson on the 17th. Oh, that's trouble.
Papá, la par, ¿y
Un poquito más a la derecha.
Increíble! He's looking where that is. There.
Nothing is lost with the full HD 1080p Aquos from the leading innovator of liquid crystal television, Sharp.
The Heisman, brought to you by the Nissan Titan.
Tuesday, celebrate your freedom of expression. Beyonce, John Mayer, Jay-Z, Gwen Stefani, and more. We love you! The American Music Awards, live Tuesday at 8/7 Central, only on ABC.
College Football Countdown, presented by Nissan, proud presenter of the 2006 Heisman. Visit theheismanvote.com to cast your vote.
Michigan, Ohio State, the big one coming up. But tonight, one almost as big. USC, #3 in the BCS. They can stay there and beat California today. They could go on to face the winner of Michigan, Ohio State. Well, as we said, Lloyd Carr would not speak to us before the game. However, Lisa Salters managed to soften them up, and here he is with Lloyd Carr.
Coach, first, we want to offer our condolences about your loss. Considering what happened yesterday in the passing of Bo Schembechler, what impact do you think that will have on your players in this game?
Well, I think our players loved Bo like we all did, and but I think his spirit will be with us, and that's the only thing that's important.
Well, we know that he addressed the team on Thursday. What message did he leave with you guys?
Well, he talked about a former quarterback, Tom Slade, who died this past week. And he talked about how Tom Slade, even in the latter days of his life, talked about being the quarterback at Michigan, playing against Ohio State. And Bo's point was, no matter how long you live, these will be the most special days other than your family. So he left a great message.
How are you feeling right now? How's your stomach feeling right now?
Well, I'm as excited as I can be.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Again, we've made the point throughout the day. This is a huge game every single year. Right now, this is a playoff game because the winner is going to the national championship. So it's time for the big game breakdown. I want to know who you guys like.
Well, you know what? I try to find something maybe that's out there. When you look at these offenses, both of them are pretty good. Doug, I guess we agree on that one.
We really do. Both teams run the ball well, throw the ball well. Both are very physical teams. So offensively, they're both strong.
Defensively.
You know what? I know, Doug, you like Michigan's defense, Ohio State's defense. I like the points allowed per game, which is minimal, so I went with them. On special teams, a little different story.
Special teams, I saw it as pretty even. Both have big-time punt returners. Kickers are pretty similar, other than the fact Ohio State actually has 3 field goals over 50 yards.
Well, you know what? But I went with the Michigan's all-around special teams. They don't have a rookie kicker over there, freshman guy. Coaching, in the coaching ranks here, I have them even because I think both coaches are really good coaches.
I agree with you that that's pretty even, but I think that's weighing on Lloyd Carr a little bit with his record against Tressel. Intangibles playing at Ohio State is the reason.
I'm seeing an awful lot of Ohio State symbols up on that board, so who are you picking?
You went with the defense, didn't you? Michigan's defense? Well, let me tell you what I think I'm going to do against your defense.
Okay.
You know, when I went in and watched all the film here, I really found an offense at Ohio State that was capable of spreading the ball around. But one name that we haven't talked a whole lot about this week is Anthony Gonzalez. Troy Smith will find Gonzalez. Gonzalez is a big play guy, man. I know Ted Ginn Jr. is going to do his thing too, but watch out for Anthony Gonzalez, and I'll take him.
Yeah, Michigan does have the #1 defense against the rush, but I am also going with Ohio State. They're too explosive. The X factor is Troy Smith, that even when the defense is in their face, he can make plays.
It's a game we have waited on for over a month. Stay with us throughout the day. We'll send you out to Brent Musburger at this word from our ABC stations.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
ABC Wednesday. 19 million viewers have caught Show Me the Money fever. That's wild. And with jackpots this big, it's contagious. Show me the money. Premieres Wednesday at 8/7 Central, only on ABC.
This week at Value City Furniture, enjoy a 2-piece 100% leather living room package for just $8.99.
Save over half now during the spring sale.
When the elements of nature blend, they create green. A green that's refreshing. A green that's rich in protective antioxidants and blended with citrus for a great taste. Lipton Green Tea. Now available in a new family size bottle. A convenient way to share the goodness. Lipton Tea can do that. Available now at Walmart.
Saturn?
That's a Saturn. That's a Saturn.
Saturn?
Wow.
Saturn?
That's a Saturn?
That's not a Saturn.
That's a Saturn?
That's a Saturn.
Now, every 2007 Saturn vehicle comes standard with the best coverage in America, including the GM 100,000-mile warranty.
This week at Value City Furniture, enjoy a 2-piece 100% leather living room package for just $8.99.
Save over half now during the spring sale.
Tune in to Good Morning Tri-State for your wake-up call.
The following is a special presentation of ESPN on ABC.
You are looking live at Ohio Stadium, where Michigan and Ohio State are about to settle the most important argument in the history of their marvelous rivalry. This is Rivalry Week, presented by Remington. And at the very top of any list of rivalries stands this one, Michigan, Ohio State, and they both come in unbeaten, ranked #1 and #2 in the country. Welcome, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger. It's just a beautiful day for a football game here in Columbus. Obviously, as you've heard, a giant is missing from this game. Bo Schembechler died yesterday morning, just hours after addressing his Michigan Wolverines for one final time. And you know, you can never discuss any part of this rivalry without going back to the days of Bo and Woody. For 10 magnificent years, they waged the 10-year war. If it was Woody, and then it was Bo. And back and forth they went. 5-4-1, slight edge for Bo. But they built this rivalry to what it is now today, one of the greatest in our landscape of sports. Dead at the age of 77, gone, but like Woody, certainly not to be forgotten. And you know, so much a part of this great rivalry, the traditions throughout the week in Ann Arbor, down here in Columbus, Ohio. Two of the best bands that you'll ever want to see. The Michigan band has already been out on the field. And now the band they call here in Columbus, the best damn band in the land. Ladies and gentlemen, just settle back now and enjoy Script, Ohio, as we meet the young man, Dan Wanders from Hudson, Ohio, who is going to come out with his 35-pound sousaphone, and he will be dotting the I here today.
My name is Dan Wanders. I am the fourth-year tuba player in the Ohio State University Marching Band that will be dotting the I in this afternoon's game. And today is just going to be an absolute thrill for me. Right before I'm going to go out there and strut to the top of the I don't know what's going to be running through my head. I don't know if I'll be even able to play the song as we're going through Script. I'm just going to try to soak it all in front of the 105,000 people screaming and yelling their tails off for this big game. So I'm just going to soak it all in.
Ladies and gentlemen, we settle back and await the college football showdown everyone has been debating since mid-September. Wherever you are, whatever you do, this is your game. These are your teams. Their dreams are your dreams. It's that big. The biggest to date. In a rivalry rich in emotions and mythology.
legends are made in this game.
Bo on one side, Woody on the other.
Charles Woodson had an unbelievable game.
This game was a Heisman for me.
Charles Woodson down the sideline. Touchdown, Michigan.
You're judged at Michigan by what you do against Ohio State.
Rex Kern and Archie Griffin. Desmond Howard pulling the Heisman race.
And today, for the first time in over 100 years, they meet as number 1 against number 2.
When you talk about rivalries, this is the top.
This is the biggest of them all.
Troy Smith is a heck of a football player.
You got to be born with what number 10 just did.
He has a knack to make things happen.
We got a great defense. We'll see how great a quarterback he is.
That defense is nasty.
Everyone is watching.
That's the season. There is no other game.
Everyone cares.
This is the national championship game.
Everybody's together.
He's just the best of the best.
It doesn't get any better.
Everybody's there.
Where else is there to be? Say this will be one for the ages.
So who wins in this one?
This is the biggest game ever.
Everybody. Jim Trussell and the Ohio State Buckeyes preparing to come out. Alumni of this great football tradition here in Columbus, helping form the tunnel, and here comes the number 1 team in the land. Number 1 versus number 2. Since 1990, this is the first time that one team has been asked to do it twice. Remember, the Buckeyes went down to Austin and defeated Texas earlier. So this is a rarity, folks, and a pleasure for me to be alongside one-time Ohio State quarterback Kirk Herbstreit, former Notre Dame head coach Bob Davie. And you know, Bob, we've talked about this game in the last couple of years. The most important figure is Ohio State quarterback Troy Smith.
No question, Brent. I think the most important thing Troy Smith does for this Ohio State offense, he provides them with a margin for error. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to block everyone because he can make plays on his own. Unbelievable amount of pressure on him today. Possible Heisman, possible national championship. But the reality, Kirk, he's faced this every week and embraced it. Troy Smith, to me, is the difference in this football game.
Well, he seems to embrace it. He seems to play his best game when it's a big stage like this. But I'll tell you what, if you're the Michigan defense, you've been waiting 12 months to get another shot at number 10. And this defense has made offenses all year one-dimensional. They're number 1 in the country in stopping the run. And if they stop Antonio Pittman, their defensive line, Alan Branch up front and Lamar Woodley, they have to win the battle up front and get pressure on Troy Smith. If they do that, they'll win the game.
Well, the countdown to kickoff now is closing in on when we begin number 1 against number 2.
The 23 flavors in every Dr. Pepper add up to so much taste. 23 is always on the tip of your tongue.
So at the end of the 23rd quarter, it's all tied up 23-23.
We'll be back after a brief 23-second timeout.
Thanks, guys. Dr. Pepper and ESPN are giving you a chance to throw for $1 million. Go to ESPN.com, keyword pepper to enter. Because with 23 flavors in every Dr. Pepper, there's always more to it.
What if you could get rid of credit cards that don't offer meaningful rewards and get one that offered more ways to earn more cash than anyone else? Take charge with Discover Card. What if you could get rid of credit cards that aren't upfront and clear and get one that gives you the tools and information to make decisions that work for you? Take charge at discovercard.com/whatif.
Lance Armstrong for Bristol-Myers Squibb.
Remember me, cancer? You gave me less than a 50-50 chance to live. You made me suffer. My mom, too. But you made me smarter and more determined and a believer in miracles. Remember me, cancer? You made me what I am today.
Your will, our medicines. Together we can fight the serious diseases. Bristol-Myers Squibb. Together we can prevail.
This ESPN production is available on ABC HD, presented by Dish Network. 19 seniors making their final appearance here in Columbus, Ohio. And just moments ago, quarterback Troy Smith was introduced to this crowd. More than